I finished the Phantom Liberty DLC and all the side gig missions that came with it. Let's talk about it in this video. So the DLC took me about 18 hours to complete, doing every activity available with the new update, and I did this with a very high speed throwing weapons build that made combat go by really fast and felt really brutal to get those headshots and watch enemies just drop as I just used that like slow-mo thing and just like murder everybody. But you can expect about like 25 hours to 30 hours of play if you're taking your time with the new content, or your build is more like stealth oriented of you, sneaking around, taking people out one at a time instead of just like zerging through and taking everybody. I absolutely love the story, the way it's told, and the situations you're put in that allow you to experience what Cyberpunk 2077 should have been at release. It was such a solid experience, and I thoroughly enjoyed the chaos, the action, everything that was happening was nuts. The gameplay was incredibly diverse, from car chases to stealth, underwater, sniping missions. I think I did everything. It reminded me so much of old school Call of Duty missions that will still stick with me to this day. The insane variety of mission types and ways to accomplish them was a huge breath of fresh air and always kept me wanting to push on for more and do what's next. The cinematics and the storytelling were done so well, it felt as if I was part of a movie plot, especially with Idris Elba just being everywhere. I think that's what it is. Seeing Idris everywhere is like, I'm an actor now, dude. It felt very real and very immersive as I got into the DLC story. It does take off very quickly. Like, as you get into Dogtown, everything starts hitting the fan and causing absolute chaos around the new area, Dogtown, where you end up on the run almost immediately. And as with the base game, there are many choices to be made in Phantom Liberty. And tons of mindfuckery where you constantly doubt your own actions, your own choices, with each character pulling you in a different direction. And all the characters are very strong, in a sense where you kind of want to help them all. It works really well and allows you to create your own narrative and do what you think is the right thing to do, but you could also be completely evil and watch the story fall apart as you ruin the plans of all of these people who are trying to get your help, and you're just like, going against their will. Because you can do that. That's a thing. The flow of the DLC's story will often send you on side activities between major missions and encourage you to explore Dogtown and the new additions to the game. It works fantastically, especially when you're constantly on a new mission type, be it like stealth, action, sniping, underwater espionage, and all that. The one thing I should warn you though is, unlike the base game where you kind of like steal new cars and you have like those as gigs, there are cars that you can steal all the time, and it's not like it's progressing to something it's just an activity that you can do all the time, because previously when you finish the game there would be nothing to do. Stealing cars and taking them to like special lockups and for special customers is now an activity that you can find in the world and just do as you see fit. Sometimes you'll have a timer, and sometimes you'll have to shoot other people while driving to make sure the car doesn't get too damaged. Side content in Phantom Liberty hits as hard as the main story does, with high-impact situations with enough variety for each to feel like its own little setting and world, like a little story within the story. I was never able to guess what I'd be facing next with each new gig that I got from Mr. Hands, and some of them only unlocking as you progress further into the DLC story, which links up the two kind of like side content and main story content very well, almost feeling like they have to be done because most of the time it does feel like that. Like they're so interlinked, it could feel like a main mission sometimes. This is what Cyberpunk 2077 should have been from the start, and I'm glad I finally got to experience it the way it should have been. Let me guys know what you think about the DLC in the comments down below, and thank you so much for watching this video.